Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is Three Buck Theater, here with some new rumors. This is a rumor. We have no idea if this is true or not, but apparently the fallout from James Gunn leaving Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 has finally kind of shown what's going to happen next with it, right? We really haven't known what Disney was going to do. We know that the film was going to start production in January originally, right? Just a couple months from now, it was going to start production, aiming for a May 2020 release that was going to follow Avengers 4 and Spider-Man Far From Home, and kind of set the stage for what's going to happen over the course of the next couple years with the MCU, with this new phase, with Phase 4. As a result, things are not looking like this is going to happen because according to this new report from We Got This Covered, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 reported to begin production in 2021. So a whole 2 years after the production was supposed to start, the movie is going to go into being worked, go into the works, which tells me that the James Gunn script is done. Right. It tells me that Gunn's script is done, even though Disney was happy with it and he had turned it in, leading into right before his controversy happened, that it was done. And he was going to, that was the rumor. They were going to use the script to appease the fans, right? Bring in a new director, go with James Gunn's script, and then appease the fans. Then we find out that DC hires James Gunn. He's working on Suicide Squad 2, probably going to end up directing that. And then they come out with this report that the movie's been pushed back to 2021 for production start date. Why is that? Why is that? But let's look at the article, then let's speculate. So it says here, the firing of writer-director James Gunn has caused quite a mess for the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, but it sounds like things will eventually be pushing forward with the Marvel trilogy maker just later than expected. A new listing report indicates that production on the third Guardians of the Galaxy is set to begin in February 2021 under the working title Hot Christmas. This suggests roughly a 2-year delay from the release date predicted before the project's original helmet was dismissed over controversial tweets. And now that Avengers Infinity War has introduced the titular team of the series into the wider MCU, it's likely that a setback this great will send ripples through the franchise, forcing other Marvel movies to undergo rewrites to maintain the overarching continuity with the interconnected universe. While Disney seems to stand by their choice to drop Guns, it was previously reported that Marvel Studios still has every intention of using the filmmaker's script. At this rate, however, it looks like the screenplay could use some major adjustments before it's ready for shooting. For one thing, even putting these delays aside, there's a distinct possibility that actor Dave Bautista will not be reprising his role as Drax. And again, that is very, 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 very true. He's been very outspoken in his disdain for how Disney treated James Gunn. Bob Iger has stood by the firing of James Gunn, saying that his studio heads came to him. His studio head said, it's time for him to go. And then he said, okay. Right. I'm wondering, this is a theory, probably not true, and it's probably not going to happen. But my first thought when I read that this delay was happening was because they're giving James Gunn time to do Suicide Squad 2 before having him come back to do Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. A couple years passes. We're talking by the time they go into the production will be 2.5 years since his controversy went down. 2.5 years since his controversy. I'm telling you right away, like that's enough time for anything to pass by in Hollywood for them to allow him to come back. Right? They're gonna be like, well, we were working on a new script. We were working on this, but we ultimately decided to bring James Gunn back in. He's been out in the cold too long, blah, 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 blah. We're bringing him back because I don't know. He's going to work with the competition. And Gunn would be probably given carte blanche at DC to effectively remake the DCEU in his image, as he was going to do for Marvel. And that's got probably Walter Hamada's nips super hard. He's like, oh, we could finally compete with Marvel. We have one of their best. In fact, we have their architect outside of Joss Whedon, who we tried bringing in Joss Whedon. That didn't work. So we're going to go with his replacement, who was already on track to take Marvel to 40 films and beyond. You know what I mean? Like Gunn was involved in this, like whatever their overarching story is, over Phase 4 and pushed out there into the cosmos. That's going to be him. Now he's on DC's team, right? So why else would you delay it 2 years from the original production start date? Why else? Why else? There's no other reason. There's literally no other reason. Why? Because the movie won't even come out then until 2022, putting it 5 years from Volume 2. That's a long ass time. That's a long ass time. I mean, So far as the sequels that Marvel's put out, I mean, Doctor Strange is currently rocking the longest sequel. No, that would have been Thor. Thor was 4 years. Thor Dark World and Thor Ragnarok were was a 4 year stretch. So there's that. I mean, they've done this kind of thing before, to be fair. But I have a feeling either they want Taika Waititi and they can't get him until then, or they want to bring back in James Gunn. People will argue that the James Gunn thing is already done. It's already sealed. In Hollywood, nothing is ever done, right? Nothing is ever done forever. They could find a way to bring him back. But I don't know. I think Warner's is going to throw a lot of money at James Gunn to keep him around. I think if James Gunn does a good job at DC with those characters, they will have James Gunn move on and take over. I think he will become the new creative force behind DC. He'll reinvent Superman. He'll reinvent Batman. He will make them more fun and fresh, and give DC what it wants, which is something that is comparable to Marvel. And maybe they're delaying this as a way to keep him on, maybe keep him dangling around a little bit. I don't know. Maybe not. Probably not. But to me, it does feel like that delay, if it's true, if a 2-year delay from production dates, not even, it's 25 months. There's a distinct reason for that. Now, we do know that Bob Iger, his contract is up in 2021. I don't know when in 2021, but his contract is up. Oh no, did he extend it to 2022? It might've been 2022. My mistake. I don't know. I feel like whatever the next CEO coming in could overturn Bob Iger and hire back James Gunn. I don't want this whole thing to revolve around him. I don't want Marvel's future to revolve around him, but I do feel, and I've said this before and I'll say this again, that the fallout over James Gunn will have serious repercussions for the Marvel franchise. That the fallout over this, even pushing this film back, is going to have serious repercussions, considering the fact that fans didn't really care. I mean, there's a lot of vocal people who didn't really care for the Captain Marvel trailer, although there were a lot of fans that did, so let's be realistic on that one. But there were vocal people that weren't big fans of it. And I think that if Marvel fans are as outraged at Disney for this situation, considering the fever pitch that happened in regards to getting James Gunn back, they could take that out on Captain Marvel. They won't do it for Avengers Infinity War, but they might do it for Captain Marvel. And if they hurt Captain Marvel, then that's going to send a lot of things into a different spiral over there at Disney, because that will be considered something they can't control, very similar to how Solo was hurt. And Solo was kind of a case study, or maybe patient zero, for how a vocal fan base online can in fact hurt an opening weekend and an overall box office performance of a movie. Because keep in mind that these fans, if they feel that they're attacked, if they feel that they are being dismissed, if they feel that they're being talked down to, and it's not being addressed by the company above and saying, no, things are okay, they will react. Chuck Wendig was just fired the other day as a result of this. And we've seen other things happen as well. So anything could happen at this point, but delaying Guardians 2 years tells me that there is something seriously brewing. I'll have to wait and see what that is. But anyway, if you made it this far, type GOTG in the chat so I know. And we'll definitely talk again soon. We also leave your comments. I want to hear them too. And give the video a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, check back often for more content for me. My name is, of course, Matt Jarbo. This has been $3 Theater. Have yourself a great day and peace out.